Hello to everybody. Thank you for gathering here. Of course, we gather here under the name of KYOCHO, the challenge together by the 5 OEMs. We have announced this to be a press conference event. Rather than to make presentations, what we would like to achieve here is in the SDQ, what are the thoughts that we have together. We're collaborating together to achieve towards the same goal. And this session is meant to talk about those issues that we are working on together to solve. So I would like to introduce the podium. First, Maeda-san, hello to you. So I'm the Executive Fellow Representative of Mazda Spirit. My name is Maeda. Nice to meet you. So thank you for the applause. Hello to you. So I am the Director of the Board and CTO of SUBARU. My name is Fujinuki. Nice to meet you. Hello to you. I am the Corporate Vice President of NMC, Nissan Motorsports and Customized. My name is Ishikawa. Nice to meet you all. Hello to everybody. I am the General Manager, Senior Chief and Engineer of Honda Racing. My name is Kuwata, and I have started to look at this racing from April, as I'm still new, I'm a freshman. Glad to be here along with everybody. Hello to you. I am GAZOO Racing Company President. My name is Takahashi of Toyota. And we wanted to be very casual. We don't want to be sounding too official, so please collaborate with us in that manner. So as we start this session in the SDQ, what have you been trying? Maybe Takashi-san, you can talk about the efforts. Okay, so representing the 5 SDQ challengers, I will talk about the efforts that we have made. And of course, as the moderator have talked about, every time we have a race, we gather together, and it's in a free talk, casual way. You know, we discuss what are the things that we can do together. And this KYOCHO, it is in English, basically means challenge together. In the Mazda Auto Salon, there's a conversation as to challenge something together. So we have decided this KYOCHO is such an excellent keyword to use in the Super Taikyu race. And basically in the KYOCHO, what we want to achieve is to bring smiles to the faces of car lovers. And 5 OEMs will work together on that because we share the same goal. And each and every automaker work on it. Of course, we at Toyota works on products, technology, and then human capital enhancement. And of course, each company will have efforts that they would like to share with you as information. As many of you probably know, in the SDQ, this is a quick reference as to what efforts we've made. Back in 2021, SDO Koyama-san has been very helpful in putting together this SDQ class in this endurance race. And of course, in the past, there has not been the SDQ class. It was for commercial vehicles only in the past, but now OEMs can come into this SDQ class to really work on the R&D process and accelerate GLT class Corolla, and then Mazda, Ugrena's biofuel has been used. So this GR Supra hydrogen engine Corolla and Demio bio concept. And then that's after in 2022, Subaru has decided to collaborate, and there's a Hachiroku and a Subaru vehicle head-to-head. So Nissan Z also has attended with a carbon neutral fuel for the 24-hour race. And of course, Mazda has made a lot of advancement as well on their forefront. And in 2023, in terms of GR86 and Yaris, we decided to work on Yaris. And then, of course, liquid hydrogen engine Corolla had been added, and then Honda has entered into this STQ class. So all 5 OEMs have been enrolled in this STQ. Mazda has roll start, you know, so everybody who love cars are participating in this STQ. So this year, 2024, we started in Sugo in April, and this time around, you know, with the endurance race of 24 hours, every OEM has, you know, objectives to achieve, and we would like to bring smiles to the faces of people. That's really the most important thing. And so that's a kind of a short introduction from me, and I would like to pass on the microphone.
So we spoke in front of media and talked about our initiatives. So, and we didn't. Our secretariat didn't provide any material to be presented here. So sorry, I mean, so you have to go first. Sorry for a short notice. Wow. Me? Me? Okay, so please bring up the slide for me. Okay, so my name is Kuwata from Honda Racing. So from last year, we have started racing in STQ, in Super Taikyu. We are racing Civic Type R. So like you can see on the slide, from the very beginning, so we looked into sustainability of car racing. So that's why we want to race using carbon neutral fuel. So, and we want to, do technology development, find out what are the issues, so that we can, connect to our, commercial, or I guess it's a mass production vehicle and racing vehicle. So we started our endeavor from the second race of last season. So we have encountered a lot of different technology challenges. We are not able to race as we had wanted. But in the last race, so we were able to compete with STQ, all other four OEMs in STQ. So our car was as competitive, and we were able to close last season in a very positive way. Now moving on to the next page. So this season. So this is a Honda matter. I'm going to talk about Honda. So this year is a very important year for us, because in 1964 we have it's the year that we have made first entry into Formula One. So LH, so 1.5 liter V12. So it's very small engine. From today's perspective. But we started our racing endeavor from 1964, and since then, so we have positioned the race as a racing test ground for our development. And last year we started participating in Super Taikyu. So it's a ground for us to make experiment. So it's the 60th anniversary of Honda's racing. And so we have already seen the design of this season's car. But some of you may know, some of you may not know. So I'm going to talk about this again. All the way to 71, that's the first racing car that has participated in Formula One. So, the Rising Sun, Hinomaru. national flag of Japan is the design concept for our racing car. And it's the 60th anniversary of our racing gears. So of course we will continue with our technology study and development. But like Takahashi has mentioned, we want to bring smile to many different customers. And what sort of car is the best car for a racing fan? And we tend to talk about competition. We want, of course, focus on the fast car, which our top driver can drive. But we want to bring down the perspective. So we want to communicate to people and the media. And we want them to try our car and get feedback from ordinary people and try to reflect that on to our car development. And that's what we would like to do in this season, especially. Okay. So from this 24 hours race, so we are going to have medias. We have one female driver. So this is a very tough race. And we are going to prove to you what sort of, and we're going to test what sort of car is the safest, most fun, and most easy to drive for our customer. And we want to reflect the result or the learnings from the racing to our future car development.
Well, then I would like the next to talk about Nissan's efforts. So at first, I would like to show you this slide, kind of illustration of motorsports engagement on the part of Nissan in a pyramid shape. So up on top, staff's pro, drivers pro, and it's just to exhibit the performance. And then Nissan GT 500, it uses internal combustion type, and then there's Formula E on the left side top. This uses quite a characteristic EV race car. Tokyo race was held the other day. It's starting to be known here in Japan as well. It's quite popular already elsewhere in the world. Of course, this is an area where I would like to see KYOCHO efforts with other OEMs in that category as well. The importance to highlight is down below where we are trying to demonstrate this time. ZT3 right bottom. Of course, this is for pros as well as those car lovers who are not professionals. We would like to provide the fun of driving. And about 3 years ago, Z series came with turbo, and we wanted to use it in motorsports. So, we have come up with GT4, ZT4, as you see left bottom. So when we thought about the development process, as Takahashi-san has talked about the SDQ progress so far, we thought that SDQ is a wonderful venue where we can continue to progress on the R&D front and race at the same time. So we wanted to join in the efforts of this SDQ. So on the very left side, 2022 was the first time around. You can see that it's kind of smaller in size. It doesn't have the wing, and the shape is kind of similar to mass production cars. And the driver, we have requested a gentleman, amateur driver, to drive this car. And, in the SDQ, we thought that in the homologation, this has not been certified for the class, but it was under development well enough. And then we went on with the update development in the middle in 2023. Of course, aerodynamics, cooling, chassis, engine, cockpit, all of the things have been improved. When it comes to motorsport, motorsports, many people say that the R&D process needs to be very agile. We were able to be agile, but in real car senses in this STQ. And this year, it's GT4 updated version. The shape is not that much different, but there's been inner improvements that we've made, engine chassis and whatnot. And we have also worked on carbon neutral fuel. Of course, we have earlier started to use such fuel, but for a small rally for hobby's sake and whatnot, this carbon neutral fuel should be in use, we thought. So for the advancement of carbon neutral fuel would be a great thing to be tested and improved through the course of STQ. So we've made a lot of progress as Nissan. So those are the activities on the part of Nissan. Thank you.
Okay, so this is Subaru speaking. So am I getting some presentation or something? Oh, yes, yes. So I'm not going to stick on to what's mentioned on the slide, but anyway. Engineers are very competitive. They hate losing. So, and we always hone and evolve technology through competition. So this is my personal story. So I've been working on the performance, driving performance. I was working on WRX STI and Impreza. So I think what year was it released? So it's the circle-eyed, round-eyed second generation. Then Lancer Evolution 7 came out, and we lost to that model, Mitsubishi model. So and I hated losing. So I mean, a year later, we released Specification C. So we changed the front geometry of the wheelbase. So we weren't able to do that. But that motivation was, competitiveness. We hated losing. That's why we made that evolution that fast. And that's how technology evolves. That's my personal opinion. And if you look at current R&D, so we set the target performance. And if you achieve that, we are okay. But we wanted something more explosive. But I guess, it was a bit difficult. So, and we didn't have the racing that we were able to participate. Now came STQ. We thought this was very good. And Toyota happened to have kindly invited us. So that's why we decided to get into STQ, the Super Taikyu. So we are going to hone our car and engineers. So engineers, behaving very well. Started behaving well in the company. But they are trying to hide their more of a perverted skill. And that's not good. So for instance, Tomika, this is a miniature BLZ. And so they developed their own sticker. And so this is a Super Taikyu version of BLZ, Tomika. So when somebody does this, well, this guy has this capability. So this is not just Super Taikyu. So we have to engage ourselves in many different initiatives. So we want to recruit talents. We want to find talents in our people. And so my third page of PowerPoint, going back to the slides. So we competed with BLZ for 2 years. But personally, I just wanted people to remove the limit, try something more drastic. So we are SUBARU. So we just want to maintain a turbocharger technology. We want that technology to survive into the future. We don't want regulation to kill the technology. So we wanted to look into the potential of turbocharger technology. That's why. So we are changing car. We want to do this in time for 24 hours. And I thought we could make it, but we are passing this opportunity. So from next round, from Autopolis, we are going to have the turbocharged four-wheeler CNF car. We are going to really hone this car to develop technology for the future. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you.
Well, then I would like to very nicely finish up by my presentation. I had earlier an occasion to talk about Mazda's engagement in a round table style. So I'm just going to kind of recap the key points here. And of course, we have this Mazda 3 diesel concept and the other. So we have two vehicles here. This number 55 of Mazda 3. When I recall the Ruman back in 2091, Mazda was crowned, became a champion in that race, and it's the same second number, the 55. So we're very proud of this. We owe a lot to this number, and it has come back to us, 30 years later. So we're very happy to be a part of this KYOCHO challengers of 5 OEMs crowned by this. Of course, there are several thinking lines that I can share with you. One is to make sure that we cultivate the talents and enhance the technology towards the carbon neutrality society. This is the benefit of SDQ is that we can do the R&D, for example, carbon neutrality or anything that has to do with a vehicle itself, for enhancement. In a sports situation, we can test out different things and make ourselves more endurant. And of course, when it comes to Mazda top engineers, there are 31 of them here on this venue. They get really serious when you see things right in front of them. They have to be very quick in making decisions in a race situation. And this, tension in a good way goes on several days. So they're really pushed to their limit of their talent, and it's different from a mass production environment. And people are basically, made much tougher. And in terms of cultivating the skills, such engineers, just a case in point. And the other is these drivers of the young generation, from a virtual to real. We have started this effort from last year to become a race driver. In our days, you would start from kart racing or other motorsports, but nowadays people come in from esports in a virtual driving world, and then they can become, a champion in that, and then they now come to a real vehicle in racing. And Mazda Roadstar is just a case in point, and we have a lot of races that we participate in, and we would like to see this grow to world competition, and we would like to gather them together and to participate in Super Taikyu. So that's card number 120 in the ST5 class in this chart, as you see. So in terms of making sure that we meet, bridge out to the next generation talents, those are the 2 points. And then from my background, because I'm a designer, I like to mention one thing. And so when we started to get into this S-Dye, we first worked on the logo. The logo had been registered 2 years prior to the time of the actual race. And from this time around, we have these different color sets. And I have a picture I'd like to share with you. I have to show the picture. So it will come. Now, in terms of the car itself, let me just skip. Because I'm a designer, this is quite important to convey to you. It's stylish, and we were very keen on creating a design that people think this is, it's cool. So that's kind of concept. Thank you.
Okay. Then we'd like to open up for questions and answers. So we have, an opportunity of people, gentlemen from 5 OEM. So if you have a question, can address all these 5 OEMs, that would be, we would be very happy. So Kaneko-san, you're the first. My name is Kaneko from Kuruma News. So you have talked about the initiative of 5 OEMs. So we have people from 5 OEMs. So what is your joint initiative among 5 OEMs? Maybe this would not become a reality as soon, but if you have personal view on what you want to do together with the 5 OEMs. And why Gaia? So you're, going over the silos of these OEMs to communicate. So in Super Taikyu, so what is your learning? What were you able to take back to your company through 5 OEMs KYOCHO challenging together? So do you want to go first? Okay, so I'm the first batter to go. So we are the newest entry to Super Taikyu. So I'm not quite too sure whether I can answer to your question well, but anyway. So I'm going to go from your second question. So we are going over the boundary of 5 OEMs. So what 5 OEMs are working together? Usually, we focus on motorsports from our own perspective, the OEM, single OEM perspective. But so now 5 OEMs joining hands. What can we do? So because we never thought about that in the past. So in that sense, we want the 5 OEMs to engage in motorsports, to contribute to automotive industry or racing industry, think about what should be the future direction for motorsports and auto industry, how we can better develop the industry or community. I think it's a very good opportunity for us to think about this together. We don't have any specific ideas, but I guess, yes, this has triggered a new way of thinking. Thank you. What was the other part of the question? So what was the benefit or the learning from Super Taikyu? And so when we engage ourselves in race, so we usually go for the top category. So like I have mentioned earlier, so we want to do a racing with an edge. We want to demonstrate how superior our technology is to the people, and we want to show our engineering technology. We want to develop our engineering technology. But now, this is more of a participating type motorsports. So that's quite different. So each OEM has very different approach in engaging with Super Taikyu. So now I've joined, and what we were not able to see outside in, we already know. We have opportunity to learn. Maybe besides all the outside all these initiatives. So in us, Nissan looking into the future of motorsports, or Honda, motorsports is something that Honda must have. And if you look into the continuity or sustainability of motorsports, we can now start looking into how we can achieve that. And that's one of the benefits we have received in participating as Super Taikyu. Okay? So Fujinuki-san, I think you can go a bit softer. I think after Honda-san has made a formality. Okay. In the past, I don't think there was no such opportunity for the people from different OEM to gather and communicate together. So we had a very strong wall between the OEMs, and we were living and working in secrecy. But the hurdle that we need to overcome in letting the engine technology survive is very high. And so engineers are very competitive. They hate losing. So usually engineers from 5 OEMs gather to develop a single engine. That wouldn't work. They would be too competitive. But when we start communicating, we are faced with the same issue. One may have already, resolved that issue. The other, but you don't have to. The one doesn't have to teach them how they overcame that issue. The fact that they have overcome issue is going to encourage the other OEMs who have not yet overcome that challenge. So working together. So technology development is a lonely process. So and whether or not we have an exit for the technology development that you're doing, if we have friends, we may not have to work hand in hand. Sometimes we compete, but if we can feel that we are not alone, that's very encouraging motivation. That gives us courage to continue with the development. So is that good enough? I'm not in position to approve your statement. And I myself, so like Fujinuki-san has mentioned, so we are able to see that we are not alone. So STQ started out very small, but now we have 5 OEMs using STQ as an experiment room for developing the cars. And I think the world knows. All the OEMs are using STQ to develop their cars. The world knows, and that's the benefit of the KYOCHO, challenging together among 5 OEMs. So and also head-on competition between BLG, Subaru, and 86 us. We hate losing. We are very competitive. We are determined to win the next race. That's leading to development of our engineers, and also the 3 OEMs are using the same carbon neutral fuel, and you are of course developing the car, honing the car, and developing and honing the fuel itself. Maeda-san, I think you're nodding, but I think you should speak up. Wow. I need to speak. So like the 2 gentlemen has mentioned, so the future of motorsports, what will that look like? We love motorsports, we love driving, but do we have a bright future in front of us? So sometimes I feel very anxious, worried. But these people from 5 OEM is facing the same direction, engaging same technology, and we are determined to explore into the future. So I think, that's very encouraging. That gave me courage to move on. We can still develop a fun-to-drive car, and we can, hand over this very fun motorsports to the next generation. And I feel responsible that I need to do that. And that's the biggest attraction of STQ. So from inside in perspective and from outside in perspective. So this is an outstanding engagement. STQ is an outstanding engagement, both from internal perspective and from a perspective of people outside. And I don't have an answer to the question, but what we want, so I want to develop GT3 car. Sorry, this is personal. Don't write an article out of this. I'll be making a lot of people in Mazda upset. But so we need a base vehicle, GT3, GT4. So and we want I want to use STQ as a base development for I guess these different grades of racing car development. And also another point, communication is very important. We have 5 OEMs with different perspectives, but they're communicating the fun of racing to the world. And this is a very big power. Younger generation. They don't come to Super Taikyu race. We have less and less car fans, car lovers. But I guess it's the failure of communication on our side. So that's why we have Waigaya Club. We have a very candid dialogue, and I would like you to support this practice or engagement. Thank you. Do I have to speak? Because everyone else has said everything I wanted to say. So Super Taikyu Waigaya Club. So every time we have a Super Taikyu race, we have like over 60 minutes chat. In Super GT, for instance, if we meet, we greet each other, we make a casual chat. But I mean, we are in a competitive relationship once the race starts. But Waigaya Club is a bit different. So looking into what we can do in the future, so I want to invite all 4 OEMs to Formula E. So putting that aside, I mean, every OEM has their own situation. But I mean, so the cars are becoming hybrid and they're being electrified, battery EV, and the new racing format. So because I mean, our customer wants to enjoy, I mean, circuit driving with the car that they have bought on for themselves. So maybe I mean we can have a casual chat between 5 OEMs to bring that into reality. So and we can talk about what we can do together. At least yeah, we can make that such communication. And so that's my expectation for the future of Super Taikyu Waigaya Club. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Please. This is Umeda of TBS. Thank you very much for this occasion. So speaking of the 5 OEMs, what you are tackling, I think carbon neutrality fuel is that every one of you try. And my question is, you know, by being in a race, what are some of the learning points? And then what are some of the issues, the challenges to overcome going forward? If you could please elaborate on those 2 points. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you for the question. In terms of what we have learned, when it comes to carbon neutral fuel, how we generate them, how they produce them, it's different. So as is, it's not for wider use. But we can learn the process of generating such carbon neutral fuel suitable for a wider usage vis-a-vis fitted to mass production process. So that's ultimately what we want to achieve. And there's kind of in the early process dilution of oil and whatnot as a difficulty. But now on the part of the engine, on the part of the e-fuel itself, we are starting to really see the concrete directions of technological advancement that we need to make. And in terms of penetration, to be widespread, of course, we've been familiarized with e-fuel for some time now. However, for the general public, it's still something entirely new. So we need to work beyond the car-making industry itself. We need to involve energy industry. We need to involve the regulators such as METI officials. Yeah, Takahashi-san, I'm thinking 2 years ago, e-fuel. We bought e-fuel. It wasn't made internally at OEM end because it was entirely different characteristics compared to conventional gasoline. But now, you know, we pretty much provide these specs for the e-fuel to be produced in such a way, you know. Yeah, ourselves, Subaru, Mazda, we have collected 3 OEMs worth of data sets. That's, you know, at least triple times more data. So we have made advancement in terms of how we face e-fuel. Yeah, I agree. 3 years ago, this carbon neutral fuel, there's so much oil dilution, and we felt that was not suitable for race environment usage. But by the collaboration of the 3 OEMs, we use a similar fuel. It's close to what is sold out there in market as gasoline. So carbon neutral fuel technically is very close to be able to replace gasoline. We have come so far. And as Takahashi-san said, to produce carbon neutral fuel domestically is maybe another kind of a stage that we would like to achieve. I think everything's been talked about, so there isn't much to add. But we ourselves are in agreement in terms of HRC. There's a two-wheel race, but I would say that for both four wheels and two wheels, this carbon neutral fuel is the fuel of the future. And then the usage itself is different. Sometimes for two-wheel, there's a different a set of issues to be overcome. But in any event, the use of carbon neutral fuel, the experience has been a great asset to us. And this is a solution indeed, and Takahashi-san said, how are we going to bring it to mass use? Of course, in the process, there is a production capacity issue and there is cost issue. And again, that's not something that auto industry alone can solve. We need to work with the energy industry people to reduce the cost, for example. I mean, we don't want to sacrifice the safety and quality in place of this cost advantage. So, those are the thoughts that we have, and we would like to bring carbon neutral fuel to consumers as early as possible. Well, maybe just one comment from me to add to what had already been said. Mazda is working on biofuel, and when we talk about biofuel, I mean, everybody's expectation was, no, that's not going to be suitable for race environment. But it's pretty much par with diesel performance. And first there was, injection-related issues that we had difficulty with. But now we have improved the technology so that we can treat it like diesel when it comes to injection. So in the future, I vision a world where in gas stations out there in town, people can use this, fuel as a new source. And, until then, there are many hurdles to overcome. And when it comes to biofuel, the problem is many a times the mass production is difficult. I mean, the volume cannot be performed, in mass volume. But we're starting to look at that issue. And I think that's a good benefit of us being a part of this SDQ. We don't have the solution yet, but we are in the quest of that solution indeed.
Anyone else with a question? Tanigawa-san, you're up next. So Impress KYOCHO, Tanigawa speaking. Super Taikyu Organization, STO. So you're going to change the name to STMO, Super Taikyu Mirai Organization. Mirai is future. So you're going to communicate to the world. You want to connect to the world. And the new president, Mr. Akio Toyoda, has mentioned that. So Japan's export. One of the key export of Japan is of course car. And so a Super Taikyu Organization become STMO. Future oriented. So can you make communication to the world? What sort of communication you want to make to the world using a Super Taikyu as the venue? So Toyota, I think you have invited a driver from Thailand, Maeda-san. You talked about a car number about 55, Le Mans GT3. So I think you are now ambition to race in the world. So Honda-san, you have Indy 500, Le Mans, Monaco. So Honda-san, I think I want you to start off with the answer. That's a difficult question. So global. world. So how can we leverage this racing platform in the world, not just in Japan? That's a very big challenge. We are, beginning to establish platform in Europe and United States, but in a four-wheeler race. So what about Asia? So let's focus on Asia. Because so I think Asia has a potential room for growth for four-wheeler racing. Because the two-wheeler racing market is growing, but four-wheelers hasn't grown to that extent. So we want, there are a lot of people in Asia. We want people in Asia to, have fun, to know about the fun of racing. And also we want many people to drive, and many different types of people to drive our racing car. Maybe we should invite more people from Asia. So we want to really engage people and society from Asia. Thank you. So GTO that is participating in Super Taikyu. So we are looking into United States. That car is being released in U.S. market. And so if we are able to connect what we have did with Super Taikyu to races in United States, so our target, objectives, we want to have many different customers to come out over the weekend with their car to come to the circuit and enjoy driving. And we want Asian customers to do that. We want to design a car for Asian customers. And so that opportunity, we have drivers, driving, with the Super Taikyu. I think Super Taikyu is one of the way we bring that into reality. Subaru speaking. So I wasn't looking into that sort of ambition. So taking this to the world. We are fully engaged in the race in front of us. So Subaru used to race in WRC World Rally competition, and our racing effort has become a bit weaker, but we still have the fire. We have a lot of fans of Subaru racing. And we want to communicate to them that we will be racing. That the fire is still lit. And so maybe this is not ambition, but this is my hope. So yes, we want to race outside Japan. I think the four OEMs, they are racing at the top category race outside Japan. And Mazda, so hasn't been racing outside Japan for quite a long time now. So we have Super Taikyu scheme for the system, and we can make an entry into overseas racing. And that's a very blessing for us. Because, it's very difficult for us to go outside Japan and race outside Japan alone. Because it's not just racing, there are a lot of unknowns, uncertainties in so doing. So that's why we have this new announcement around STMO with new activity. Of course, we definitely want to join that effort. Yes, thank you. So that's my hope. Me? Hi. Okay. So global. Well, when we say global or world, different region has different customers, different fans, a different ways of driving car. So again, and STQ has a lot of different types of engagement. So if people from all the regions in the world can get a sense that what we are doing here may have impact on their life, that's what I would like to see. And so Morizo-san, who will be the new president of STMO, he wants to turn motorsports sustainable. He wants to hand over the fun of motorsports to next generations. They want to be as close as possible to car fans, car lovers. And that's true for GR racing as well. So carbon neutral technology is evolving in motorsports. So we don't want people to see motorsports to something that goes against carbon neutrality. So we are working for car lovers, car fans. So that should be our biggest output to prove that motorsport is something not something that doesn't go against carbon neutrality. So somebody in the center. Next question.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. I'm Yamanaka of Nikkei newspaper. So the five OEMs are here. You're all participating in SDQ. And you have talked about the test ground as a kind of a benefit of SDQ. I think you can learn from this experience, but at the same time, it's a way you can demonstrate, what technological advancements that you have made. So on that very point, what is it that you want to demonstrate here? Of course, towards the car fans, but to the general public as well. I'm sure you have some appeal points that you would like people to focus upon. So please talk about that. Well, to answer your question here, rather than to speak on behalf of Honda as a OEM, I'm going to give my personal response. Of course, this is endurance race, so it's different from a sprint type of race. When it comes to endurance race, once the race starts, we basically entrust the drivers. That's in case of a sprint, but endurance is different in that the teamwork need to formulate, including the mechanics and whatnot, and everything is kind of against time. And 24 hours is kind of the ultimate challenge. That's where all the human skills are put to test, and we need to unite under the same team name, and people get really emotionally fulfilled at the end of the race. I see people in tears because of their sense of achievement. So I think as sports, even to those who are not motorsports fans yet, perhaps they could see us and the passion maybe can relate to them as well. Okay, so I will continue because I'm sitting next to you. So this is what I would like to share with you. Perhaps slightly deviating from your question, but this number 230 vehicle in this SDQ, I call it NISSAN. NISSAN is Nissan Motorsports efforts, as you know. So NISMO members have worked very hard on this number 230. Usually they work on Super GT race only, but this one is 24 hours endurance. And I don't know who came up with this idea. It just is so much effort. But because the challenge is big, everybody is really put to limit, and people are really energized by this big challenge. And mechanics will come up with this new way of solving things, for example, under this pressure. So just yesterday we had such discovery. So we have GT drivers, there's 6 of them, and then Motoyama-san. I shouldn't say from the old days. We have different generation of drivers. Perhaps I could put it that way. So we have different age groups participating as drivers, and then their communication, their collaboration is really nice to see. So these are the ways we would like to demonstrate, and I like people to notice what developments we've succeeded in. Okay, and then I will follow up. I'm representing Subaru. Perhaps a different point of view. I don't want people to see cars of something ill-natured, giving, pollution, CO2, whatnot. But rather, cars should be portrayed as freedom of mobility tools. And auto industry is very interesting in that there are so many brands because there are such fans out there for us to be able to survive as a business. And we need to, of course, consider the environment impact. And in order to do that, we are specifically looking at how carbon neutral fuel can contribute. And this endurance 24 hours race will, give us a lot of lessons. And then the fans are there. So there's kind of a good circle of this ecosystem in a way. People think that car fans are somewhat of niche kind of fans, but that's not the case. I think car industry has room for very healthy ecosystem in place, and I think to send such a message from Japan would be wonderful. Okay, then I will be the next to comment on that. When it comes to Super Taikyu in the endurance race, what we want to show is the teamwork. And, there's a very young member, a mechanic, comes from Hiroshima Mazda, just normal mechanics. They come here at this venue and they are just put to their very limit of what they can do, and it's teamwork just works so well. This is sports. It's motorsports. It's not televised these days, and I'd like to request all the broadcasters to televise, not just to pick up on football, baseball, whatnot. If you would please include motorsports in the list of sports news, that would be wonderful. Because people work hard, there's emotional fulfillment, people sweat, and this is sports indeed, in a true sense. So please see in that light and enjoy it. Okay, then usually the final comment to give. What we want to show is, of course, we are in R&D. R&D process is very tough. I mean, to come up with a new solution is a tiring process, but I'm very appreciative of those who work under me on those forefronts. So the progress that we made vis-a-vis the technology itself is one, but the process, I think, also need to be focused. I mean, they are struggling, but they are having fun with this challenge. So I would like people to see that. Thank you very much. So the next is the last question.
Anyone? Shimashita-san. Okay, you'll be asking the last question. My name is Shimashita, the journalist. Sorry, my voice is a bit sore. So what sort of, day-to-day communication are you five gentlemen doing? So you say waigaya, a casual chat, but for instance, so if we have a theme like carbon neutral fuel, you would talk about that, but you are making development in many different directions. So you have an opportunity for the five gentlemen to gather. So do you set a certain theme for conversation? Is it more natural? Okay, so a casual chat. Okay, maybe we can talk about Asia. And maybe the discussion could be losing a bit focus. So what sort of chat are you having from day to day among the five people here? So do you set a theme for communication? What sort of, do you have if you have this episode from the past communication, or if you have intention of changing the way you communicate in the future? So if you can offer. So maybe five of you doesn't have to answer. So okay. So we case by case. Sometimes we set a certain theme for discussion, but when we did this for the first time, we didn't didn't set a theme. So okay, so we are all in the circuit. So let's gather and chat together. So that's how this started. So we talk about car development, we talk about people development. We have many different themes that we can chat about. So maybe this may sound like a joke. So one of the Honda engineer, so they are very much motivated, and we try to recruit that guy into GR racing. So and I did ask the Honda people if we can do that. So we have a very candid communication. I think last year we had engaged people from media, but when we have media, so I mean we lose this Waigaya casual feeling because we tend to be a bit more square and serious when we have media people. So I mean, of course, products are the area of competition. So we may not talk about the car itself, but we always have chat about what sort of component technology we can work together, or anything that we can do as a team to increase motorsports fans. So quite recently we set a theme for communication. So we do a preliminary communication to set a theme and then try to gather and talk about that theme. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's 12:30. So we are going to close the conference for once. We are going to prepare for photo session. Please give us a minute or two. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you. And we will be going into photo session.